Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us tmosso@the1916company.com. It is in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any of our platforms. Please reach out to tmosso@the1916company.com for pricing. So today we discussed a 2019 limited edition that was for the Japanese domestic market. Made in 100 pieces in stainless steel, the Ginza limited edition. This is the Grand Seiko spring drive automatic SBGA409. This is nicknamed the Willow. Willows have been planted in Ginza since 1877. They are associated with the area, and while the specific texture of this dial is not original to the model, this lion's mane motif has been used repeatedly. The color that has been applied to that texture, that is very distinctive of this model. So a unique Ginza limited edition for the Japanese domestic market, made in only 100 pieces 5 years ago, so a very scarce commodity in the West. 41 millimeters in diameter in stainless steel. The SBGA 409 is 12.9 millimeters thick with the 44 GS case, whose design dates back to 1967. We've got a lug-to-lug measurement of 46.1 millimeters. We have a end-link to end-link dimension, that's the total distance across the wrist, of 49.5 and a 19 millimeter spacing between the lugs. So I'm going to throw this on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and you'll get a sense of it. I would say on the bracelet, which does make it wider, you probably want a wrist of at least 15 centimeters circumference to wear this. If you were to just wear it on a strap, then the bare lug-to-lug dimension, which you can see is far and border the edge of my wrist, on a strap, you could wear this on a wrist of 14 centimeters circumference. It's not thick, but it's not thin. The shape doesn't do you many favors under a tight cuff, but it should clear most dress sleeves. Taking a look at the bracelet, it's a good-looking bracelet. We've got a conforming end link to better mate it to the case, aesthetically more pleasing. A little bit of a taper down from the end link towards the clasp. You can see we have polished outer faces, polished intermediates, satin primaries, satin shoulder links, and that there's a little bit of a rolled bevel on the edge of the links. You will note the presence of a half-size link, an intermediate, so if you find yourself in between sizes link-wise, you've got that little intermediate to help you out. Now, it's a single fold, thick gauge steel deploying clasp. It's pretty thin as these things go. You can see the clasp features triple finish, satin, polish, and then a media blasted matte twin trigger release. You have to press both to open it, so it's quite secure. This being a steel Grand Seiko bracelet, removable. Links are fixed by screws. Grand Seiko, probably the last mainstream luxury brand, up there with the Omegas, Rolex, Breitlings of the world, but the only one of that quartet that still expects collectors to do a lot of strap swapping. So they include strap tool holes in the lugs to this day, even on quite expensive models. It's anticipated that the Grand Seiko buyer is going to have more interest in this type of do-it-yourself restyle. Now, the case, which is a polyhedron design, many different facets and a combination of creases and curves, also has contrast between satin and polish, and the polished elements specifically are the company's well-known tin plate Zaratsu polishing method that originated on European Zalitz machines. Now, today, the foremost practitioners of this art of manual finishing are the folks at Grand Seiko and Crador, and so it's become very Japanese and distinctive of this brand. Like many articles of Japanese culture, from animation to kanji, it started somewhere else, but they've made it their own. And you can see that you really do get a black polish that turns black from any angle except its one reflective facet, the sign of truly mirrored finish. And this is an art that takes about 3 years to master, so you are getting a genuinely artisanally hand-finished case, which is not something you'll find on comparably equipped Swiss watches. We've got a screw-down crown. You can see on the reverse of the watch, not just a limited edition, but that the watch is 100 meters water resistant. So while it's not a pure sports watch, there's no rotating bezel or luminescence. With the screw-down crown and 100 meters and a steel case and an automatic movement, this is a solid all-arounder for all but the most demanding professional sporting application. So you can see that the crown is sunken into the side a little bit so it doesn't stick out too much. We have a very angular bezel giving way to a dial that has what's often described as the lion's mane motif on Grand Seiko dials. But you can see this one is a deep forest green, so willow inspired. We have a solid gold polished hand gliding to represent the elapsed seconds is driven by the spring drive caliber, and of course we have a matching gold logo, but spring drive is a truly smooth sweep. There's no tick-tock, there's no start-stop. It's not ultra-high frequency to create the illusion of a sweep. It truly is sweeping. 3-day power reserve, automatic winding. We've got a hacking seconds function, a stop the seconds hand, and a quick set date to rapidly cycle that. Of course, there is a power reserve indicator on the dial side. This is caliber 9R65, and dial furniture, I'm just going to say Grand Seiko and Rolex dials in the mainstream luxury class are the best. Rolex because of unerringly efficient and accurate machine assembly, and Grand Seiko because they put a lot of manual craftsmanship into the dial. So equal in quality, but for very different reasons. So all of these little indices, the dial furniture logo, hands, date frame, and indices, they are shaped by micrometric milling tools by artisans who just create these parts all day long. They are then placed and caulked by hand during the dial assembly process. Look at the faceting of those little indices. Cut by hand and polished by hand. Notice how there are grooves on the top, and that the change of plane from facet to facet is really well defined. You could see the same thing on the hands at center with satin on their top brushed, that is directional graining, and then mirror polished razor-like edges, and you can see that solid gold hand polished seconds hand. Really special stuff. On the back, we have Grand Seiko's traditional lion logo. You can see laurels representing the Ginza willows, and then limited edition 100 pieces underneath 9R65. So automatic winding, 3-day power reserve, 30 jewels, watchmaker assembled, watchmaker tuned, and when the time comes, watchmaker serviced. It is a for life movement, not just the life of the owner, the life of the watch. You can see the unidirectional governing wheel. That's the heart and soul of the spring drive system. So this is a quartz timed watch, but there's no battery, there's no capacitor, there are no stepper motors. The mainspring is geared directly to the hands, and it is what drives the hands. But part of the drivetrain includes this governing wheel. As it spins through a magnetic field, it creates an electrical current that activates a quartz oscillator, which in turn uses an electromagnetic braking force to slow down the governing wheel and mete out the energy in a way that allows this watch to be accurate to 15 seconds a month, plus or minus. Remember, a mechanical chronometer is -4 + 6 per 24 hours. So you're getting a really unique technology here that has a lot of benefits. Mechanical soul, but quartz precision. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.